student in here, I'm going to have you get 2 quotes about the person you're profiling that pertain to their life. So if I was profiling Mrs. Haas, I would probably want a quote from a student, and maybe you can have one of my sons, if you could have all my sons to be. You could have a quote from a student, maybe an older student, who could reflect on what her bird unit did for their lives, or some of the lessons from Mrs. Haas. And I'd probably try to get a quote from her new husband, who, as you might know, Mrs. Haas. How many of you had Mrs. Haas? Yes. Look at this. This is a good person for a quote.
I didn't.
You didn't?
Mrs. Haas was recently remarried. So that is a great person to profile. She fits all those categories that we talked about. Somebody who inspired your life, maybe someone who's a little bit older, someone who could reflect on her life. In fact, I did a newspaper column on her recently that I'll send you because I'm so inspired by her all the time. Yes, tell me your name.
I'm Lucas.
Hi, Lucas. You're still Lucas, right? Since last week. Okay, tell me who did you interview?
My brother.
Your brother? Tell me about your brother.
Well, he played football and he made it to the Bengals, but then he got hurt in
He made it to the Cincinnati Bengals?
then he got hurt in in training.
Oh. How old is he?
He's 32.
How old?
32.
Cool. And who are your 2 outside sources you're going to get?
I can give my dad another day.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, you know what? And I can only suggest, I'm not your mother, so you don't have to do what I tell you to do, or your teachers. But it would be great to not only get, to get somebody from the family and maybe one of his colleagues. Can you get someone he played with? Like, what's it like to be on a team with this person?
I'll tell you.
Well, anyway, see if you can get someone you work with. Okay, who did you interview? And tell
My
me
grandmother,
Yes. Tell me your first name.
Luca,
Luca, and your grandmother is how old?
73.
And you're going to get who on record? Who are your 2 outside sources?
Her employee David and my father David.
2 Davids. Now,
Guys, it's not funny.
I'm going to give you little quotes, little tips as we go along. And by the way, my college courses start again Monday, and the lecture I'm giving you right now, not lecture, the sharing, is exactly how I talk to the college students. It's not any different. The only difference is that you guys sit more still and you're not on your cell phones. But you know what I do in college if I catch a kid on their cell phone? I tell them that's the first day of class. I open the window and I actually give a gentle toss of the cell phone. And it lands in this little bucket, so we know where it lands and they can retrieve it after class. So people don't really show up on their cell phones more than once in my class. Okay, who else? Who else is your, oh, I know what I was going to say. So let's say, David, what are the 2 last names of your Davids?
Weaver and Brewer.
Okay, so to differentiate the Davids, listen up, to differentiate the Davids talking, we're going to have to, go by, you're not going to say says David and says David. And by the way, you're going to say by Weaver and, what's the other one?
Brewer.
Brewer. In journalism, which this is now, and you're all journalists now, about to do a big profile, your subject loses their first name on second reference.